Hello, it's the 1st of June, it's a Sunday, and we're picking up where we left off. We got some plumbing supplies and we're going to try and get the sink tied in and the toilet tied in and the bath tied in. And as we've got the backhoe going as well, maybe we'll start digging out where the greywater system's going to go. I wanted to put an S-trap or P-trap, whatever you call them, under the bath. Obviously we're kind of tight for space under that, so it's going to have to be under the floor. So I've just used a load of elbows. I thought we'd just make one, do the same job. As long as we've got that water line, that should stop any bad smells rising up through the drains. We do have a purpose-built one off the shelf for the sink. It's just been mocked up in position. That's not so difficult. And then for the urine diverter, we're going to use this, and kind of been racking my brains because it's not a standard fitting for most plumbing stuff, how we're going to do an S-trap on this. And then I thought, why don't we just bend it around itself and cable tie it so you can just shape it into an S when we install it, and that should do the job. As long as we, flush it with water, bit of vinegar or whatever, lemon juice. That should keep that pretty clean, I reckon. Alright, got to commit to the position before we start putting holes in the floor. Alright, so we've settled on this arrangement, and it's the same issue we had with the bath. Facing this way, drilling straight down, would have hit the joist. So I'm going to have it here and then straight down and then snake that line just slightly so we can kind of come out over here, much safer spot. This might be a massive mistake. If I do that, don't want too much tension on it. It's not all the way through. The less tension there is, the bigger the loop. You just chase it with more water. Maybe a little bigger. Experiment. We're going to be messing about with this sink for a while, and there wasn't really enough thread on this to get this to kind of budge up tight, because it should have, this rubber O-ring, this washer between the porcelain and the nut, but with that it just wasn't enough to get it tight. It was just wobbling. So instead we just kind of siliconed that in and hopefully that will be enough to keep it watertight. We still need to work out joist positions as well. I think like between these two studs there's a joist. I need to go and measure it properly, have a proper look, but 99% sure that's how we built it. So we need to offset that, which isn't a big problem, but we'll do it all next week. Days kind of got away from us really. At least put a little toilet roll holder on. Yeah, I think that's about it really. But we've got a clear idea of what we need to do for the greywater and all the external plumbing. There's only one or two little connectors I need to get, and I think we're good to go. That's got to be probably 2 meters squared excavated, maybe 2 2/3. I've only got half a meter of gravel, so just been neatened up by hand. I'll reverse the disco in, empty that gravel in. I've just looked online, and the place I got the gravel or concrete is open for another 2 hours. So if I can get this in, if I do decide to double it, then I can quickly go and do that. probably about right actually. By the time that tank's in there, that'll be deep enough to still get a downward angle. I don't think we'd want it to sit much higher. Won't be much of a run that way. And it's got to be about half a foot deep. I reckon that's more than enough. As I say, it's a low flow shower, and then otherwise just brushing our teeth, washing hands. It's not like it's tons and tons of water having to get in there. I reckon we might be good. Right, so I'm going to cut a panel out of this and put it in place, and that'll give us a kind of idea then of how much PVC we're going to need. And then I'll get into the sink, get that run out, and hopefully tile that stuff in. And that's probably pretty good for the day, I think. I'll leave that in, just a little bit more support on the inside. Yeah, then it's about right. It would have been too high up if I had twice the gravel, I reckon. Maybe a little more, but whatever. And that'll do the job. That gave us a decent decline down to there. Shouldn't have any trouble. All right, I'll try and get the sink through the floor and then get under there and try and tie them together. I've just realised I can't do that because the drill is at home. All right, the taps are now connected in, and I've just used the world's worst plumb line to mark out where that's going to go. As I say, don't have my drill, so I can't make that hole. What I can do is work out where the T for the bath is going to come out. So it's actually a T in, and that'll be elbow out. Apologies to anyone who knows anything about plumbing, because I'm probably getting all the terms wrong. So what I'm envisioning is just a small length coming out there. Forgot about the little S-bend for the bath. So it'll come down, then through that. Some kind of configuration like that. So pipe down into that, through the S, that goes into the T, and that's shooting back that way towards the sink. Let's just go for it. There it is, a masterpiece. Do you remember those old Windows 95 screensavers? And it should fit something like that. So we've got tilt on this, so up and down, so you can get the angle right, and also rotation as well, so you can really get that lined up. Not super critical that this is in the perfect spot. So tomorrow, once we get that hole cut for the sink, we'll be able to see where we need to aim for, and then we can get those lengths cut, and then we'll get this all cemented in, and then we've got enough room here for another elbow, so I need to pick one of them up, and then the second one, sending it that way, and yeah, I guess maybe 2 meters of the 50mm and maybe another meter of the 40. I'm gonna have a dig through our scrap pile. I think we've got some old drain pipes and guttering there. I'll see if that's a good option, because even if we've got old gutters that wouldn't actually hold water, turning them upside down and putting them over that silage hose might be the go. Oh, it's tons. That'll do the job, won't it? Yeah, we've got loads of it. I think we need about, be really safe, about 5 meters of it. Now obviously probably wouldn't use that for drinking water, but for this that's absolutely spot on. How good is that? So that's all 50mm stuff. We've got this long one here. That might do us from the bath and sink, and then the others just use bits, string them up and use that for the silage hose, run that down the middle of them. They don't need to be glued or watertight, joined or anything. It's pretty much just a backup, and they'll extend the life of that hose no end. Right, I'm going to get on these with the handsaw, cut off all the fixtures and fittings, and then call it a day. Head back to town, buy some supplies for tomorrow. All right, they're all trimmed up. That long one will definitely do the bath to the tank, but this shorter one should just about do it as well. So we've got a couple of options there, which is brilliant. The rest we can string along, and whichever one of those we don't use to run the sullage pipe through as a conduit. And then I saved this, quite a useful elbow. So these are just normal pipe ends, but we've got a 90 in the middle. And what this can do is run down from there, go lower under the ground into the channel, and then tee that off straight into there. So you can even use one of the fittings as well. Really brilliant. Now the Sunday, and I've got the drill, so we had to carry on where I got to yesterday. Something like this. I think that's fairly neat. So something like this comes in straight, across a little bit, and then we can kind of angle that to where we need it to be. So I think the trench is looking pretty good. I'm going to get that tied in and then an elbow out. And then for the sullage hose, I'll run that above ground under the cabin and then enter the same channel here. I'm going to dig another one just for that. And yeah, good line of sight down to the tank. Okay, that's roughed in, pretty happy with that. And just push the tank away. That's got more than enough room to go into it. I'm just going to lay out how I'm going to get the sullage hose lined up as well. So I've got a couple of elbows that I've managed to save, 2 connectors with a new bit to join them. That can't be joined, but it's only a conduit, so not super critical. I'll just run side by side on top of each other. Yeah, cool. All the real plumbing is cemented in now, so that's all tied in. And the sullage one, the conduit plumbing, it's only this. It doesn't have an attachment, there's just not enough meat left on that to put a connector in. But I think we'll be okay. Might just put a little bit of weave cloth over it just to protect it to some degree. Now I'm gonna put 2 holes in the tank, thread them in, cut the sullage hose to length, and it's done. You're supposed to leave that cement kind of 24 hours to cure before you test it with water. I did want to test it today, but after reading that, I don't want to ruin all today's work and have to redo it all. So I'll leave it all open for this week, come back next Saturday and then give it a proper test before we bury anything. And hopefully, as long as there's no leaks or issues and everything kind of drains okay, we can start filling it back in. And then that's your waste plumbing sorted. Not exactly perfect work, but good enough. I'm gonna get in there with my hands and just dig out any of this soil, because again, we don't want this to clog up the stones. And then once I've kind of cleaned that up, I'll get some weed matting in there to cover it all, including the tank. And of course you've got the tank inlet at this end as well, so that one needs to be covered, just so it's ready to be filled in. I don't need to kind of secure the weed mat today, just in case we need to change anything when we test it all next week, but it's worth putting down, I think. All right, weed matting in. That should stop it getting all caked up in there, and I'll just pull out some big rocks, weigh it down on the corners, a couple on top. That should hold it in place, even if we get rain in the week. And of course, Old Faithful shop bag. I'll clean up, cool it there, head home, and I guess wait for that to cure. Hello, it's now the Sunday and we're down again to test out the plumbing, and I think try and sort out a bit for the composting toilet as well, and we'll see if we can do some other little bits and bobs. All right, let's test this out, shall we?
So Brad's inside and he's about to test the plumbing, so he's going to pour water down the sink first. So I'm going to jump into our little greywater hole, and I'm going to be looking out for leaks all along this piping, and then hopefully hear it draining into this water tank. Okay, he's just poured now. Sounds good. Yeah. No leaks. Okay, doing the bath now. Sounds good. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is from the toilet. Yes.
Cool, all right, 3 for 3, brilliant. No leaks here, all went without a hitch.
Done.
Excellent. I'm just going to drive these stakes in, and we've got some wire so we can fence this in. Have somewhere to dump the buckets. There we go, fenced in. We'll call it there for the day. Greywater's bedded in and all working absolutely fine, which is great. And we've got our compost dump point. All right. And that ended up being the last day we worked down the block this month. We didn't get to go this weekend. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you next month.